All right, y'all. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if everybody met up, in 2023 and was like, hey, we all gonna release our diss tracks in 2024 all at the same time. I don't know. Like, the rap industry is extremely crazy right now. Let's get into what's happening with Chris Brown and Quavo and all this. Like, oh my God.
Seeing in my headlock. People, they know these niggas dreadlocks. If I duck for book, my eaters, that's the
Okay, so real quick, that was definitely a shameless plug because the song that you just heard is off my new EP. My birthday was April 19th, so I released a project to celebrate. Make sure that you check the link in my description to stream it. It's on all streaming platforms. It's called Headlock. 3 songs. They're fun. They're gay. So yeah, just just check it out. Let me know what you think. Anyway, y'all. So what is going on in the hetero rap world? These people having a toxic off. They having a toxicity competition. Anyway, so all this really hit my timeline when Chris Brown's Quavo disc came out. So we got to go back a little bit because Chris Brown released this song Weakest Link. Apparently he'd been already sending shots Quavo's way, but he released Weakest Link. And once it started off with a voicemail of Quavo saying that he ain't want no smoke, I knew that the heteros were about to get into it. Because in Chris's song, Quavo is heard saying, hey, Chris, I don't want no issues. I don't want no smoke, blah, 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 blah. So it was already starting off crazy. So let's just get to the parts of Chris's song that actually were causing a ruckus. Of course, Chris said, you the weakest link out of your clique. Let's keep it 100, nigga. You effed my ex, ho. That's cool. I don't give no F, little nigga. Cause I effed your ex when you were still with her. I'm up, little nigga. So I'm just like, yeah, they having a peen competition as straight boys do territorial shit like, oh, well, your girl had sex before with other people. How does that make you feel? Like, all right. The typical like niggnoggery, right? He said, okay, this part, Chris Brown said, I got some tea up out that bitch. Or either he said, I got some tea up out of her or I got some tea about her, right? But I ain't gonna speak on that shit. That's what he said. And every time y'all straight boys use gay lingo like tea and shade and yes, bitch, yes, and all that shit, like, and then y'all be having the nerve to be homophobic on top of that. Like, it literally makes my skin crawl. It makes my ass itch. Anyway, Chris went on to say, I shit on niggas. I'm a defecator. I put Migo on a ventilator. Stop talking about beating girls. This girl, Chris, you just don't need to be bringing up beating nobody. Like, just leave it alone. He says, stop talking about beating girls. You was beating bitches on the elevator. We seen the tapes. That's devastating. And it's so interesting when, like I said, the straight boys be having a toxic off. Chris was talking about, you talking about me beating bitches up, but you was doing the same shit. And I'm just like, damn, so y'all be in here like, yeah, I beat bitches up. I be stomping bitches out too, but don't you do that shit too? It's just like, okay. Like, what are we supposed to? Anyway, so Chris said, Fashion Week, they sat me next to your lame ass. I was truly mad. All I kept thinking about was breaking your face, but I gave you a pass. You lucky I ain't want to fuck the money up. Boy, I would have broke you in half. And so people noticed this obviously because they were at Fashion Week sitting there like they were in class with mandatory assigned seats. People were joking about the fact that clearly there was beef because they were sitting right next to each other acting like they ain't seen the other person. It's just like shades on everything, just like acting like the other person was not there. So you put this on social media, obviously people gonna talk about it. So Chris decided to use this song to clear that up. Then the line that really went viral on social media was when Chris was like, RIP Takeoff, he the only real one that got respect. Crazy how when he died, everybody really wished it was you instead. And of course, like I said, that line went viral on social media. Everybody was just like, oh my God, damn, Chris, why the fuck you say that shit? People were like, Chris really ate up a rap nigga, like, and he's a singer. And there was everybody's like, oh shit, how Quavo gonna respond? Da, 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 da. It's just mess, right? It's just mess, and people love mess. So they were just waiting for Quavo to respond, and he did yesterday, right? Quavo responded with "Over Hoes and Bitches," featuring Takeoff's vocals on the hook. And of course, he had some jabs in there too. He told Chris to come do a dance battle with his Draco. He said, girl, since you like dancing and doing backflips so much on stage, how about you come do it, my Draco? Then Quavo responded to that whole line where Chris was like, I didn't want to fuck my money up. He was like, well, you been fucked up your bag when you punched Reed in the face. And I'm just like, okay, this kind of ties into what I said before about how they be having like a toxic off. It's just like, I feel like a lot of times the victims be the punchlines in these, like, anytime these nignogs are discussing things like this, I always wonder how like the victims feel about, because it's just like, oh, you punched Ree, oh, you did this to Courage. It's like, okay, yeah, but at the same time, like the people you talking about are humans too, like they are victims too. So I get you, like these niggas be trying to one up on each other, talking about the shit that they, don't feel no remorse doing anyway. So it's just like, I don't know. I be thinking about the victims who, like the names that are brought up after already having gone through a traumatizing period of time with Chris. You know what I mean? Like, it just, I don't know. It always makes me feel weird. Either way, this one went crazy on social media too, because Quavo said, "Crackhead Michael Jackson, bitch, you better beat it, nigga." Now, I cannot stand that crackhead word, but like the internet went up for it. They ate up. They already been calling Chris. You already know what they've been calling Chris, right? So the fact that he called him that kind of Michael Jackson, told him to beat it, nigga. Yeah, that was all over my timeline. This bullet got your name. Don't ever bring up Obviously, don't ever bring up Takeoff. That's what Quavo was saying. Quavo said, "You still messed up by Karrueche. You tried to beat up Tiana, but Usher wouldn't let you do it." Now, if you're wondering about that Tiana and Usher stuff, I'm gonna read this coming from Vulture. The link, of course, is in my description. I think they released this article sometime in like 2023. The beginning of it says maybe they shouldn't be calling it Lovers and Friends Festival, because just hours before Usher and Chris Brown were set to perform separate sets at the R&B and hip hop event, the two appeared to get in a fight at a nearby Las Vegas roller rink. Hollywood Unlocked first reported that Brown allegedly, quote unquote, jumped Usher. Chris Brown was celebrating his 34th birthday at the rink into the early hours of May 6th, and he reportedly tried at one point to talk to the singer-actor Tiana Taylor, who was ignoring him, as you do. But I don't even know why y'all was around this nigga. Because the article goes on to say, yes, both Usher and Tiana Taylor, were celebrating repeat violent offender Chris Brown's birthday, and they even sang to him. So this is my issue. This half the time just be my issue, because I'm like, y'all be seeing how violent these like niggas, like these industry niggas are, and you still go around them because, oh well, it's this particular artist with a big name and everybody know them, and it can't be that bad. And then y'all end up getting beat up. That's why I'm like, I wish people had realistic views, realistic perspectives when it comes to like their faves, because this man is violent. Like, what do you mean? So they said there was a video where Brown appears to yell to a sitting Tiana Taylor before Usher steps in to try to calm him down. Multiple outlets were reporting that this made Chris Brown mad and that he left with his group. Usher followed, reportedly only after unlacing his skates first, okay, and allegedly went to meet Brown and company behind some buses parked outside. Outlets reported that he left with a bloody nose. So yeah, I mean, if it looks like a duck and if it looks like an abuser and quacks like an abuser, guess what? It's giving Affleck. Now, what else did Quavo say? He called Chris Brown all kinds of junk. I mean, it's just, he said, "You ain't been in the trenches. We stomp in the yard. You know how that ended." It was just definitely opening up the floodgates on social media when all this came out. So everybody was gagging, of course, especially at that Michael Jackson line. Like, everybody was gagging. So then Chris Brown responded on their story and said, Google raps, that shit is poo. Damn, and I was excited. That shit don't even need a response. Takeoff raps better. So yeah, that about covers it. I mean, unless Chris gonna respond to this shit, which I mean, he's acting like he's not going to. That's about it. Now, it's always interesting to see the heteros go at it. Like, bitch, everybody was dragging. Drake was dragging. Kendrick was dragging. Who else was dragging? J. Cole wanted to drag. J. Cole tried to drag it, then apologized. It was a lot of shit going on these past couple weeks. And then now, all out of the blue, Chris Brown gonna drop a goddamn diss track, girl. And it's like, I'm not finna argue with no back flipper that thinks that every person that he comes across is a punching bag. Like, I'm not finna sit here and like, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna sit here and get all up in arms about no Chris Brown dragging me. Girl, I'm just not playing with his ass. Chris the type of person, you just let their ass do their backflips, let their ass do their front and back flips, honey. You know what I mean? Put a restraining order out on his ass and keep it moving, girl. Like, that's it. That's how you treat Chris Brown. You just let his ass do his little gymnastics on stage. You know what I mean? Put a restraining order out on his ass and make sure you never bump into his ass ever. Make sure he ain't at the same event as you. Like, girl, that's the only way we deal with his ass, girl. Oh my God. So it's like I said, it's always interesting to see these niggas have a toxic off, right? Of course, we've been witnessing it, like I said, happen for the past couple weeks with all these niggas. So this is just one of the battles. Let me know what you think of this entire situation. Love y'all so much, and make sure that you have a good goddamn evening.
And that's why you can't take me, you hate me. I don't want your nigga, you crazy. That nigga too lazy. I need me a nigga who can tame me. Coming through and make your nigga switch.